First of all, because the Quint came to me and with a very compelling story about how important this issue was. And they had just, I think, seized on a number of cases that were truly heart-wrenching. I mean, there was the case of the woman who was stalked. She complained, the stalker came back and threw acid on her face and disfigured her for life. And there was a less dramatic but equally a striking case of a young Varnika Kundu in, I believe it was Chandigarh, who was stalked by a very powerful politician's son in a car and was terrified that there might even actually be assault with a car upon her person, but she had the courage to complain and have action taken. And one of the things in common with all of this is that when a victim of stalking complains, there is always a fear that even if the police take notice, that the stalker will be immediately out on bail and then will have the additional motive of anger and revenge against the person who has complained. So the challenge with stalking is, first of all, the fear it instills on the person being stalked. But if that fear gets greater if you complain, then you have no incentive to complain, because you feel if I complain, I'll just create a worse problem for myself. This is what led me to support the idea of a bill that would make stalking a non-bailable offence. So that there are some people who, with that one arrest and warning and having to go to a court to explain themselves, will be sufficiently intimidated to stay away. But the ones who are actually capable of more serious or even violent action, they need to be put behind bars if in the opinion of a judge they should be. And that's why making the offence non-bailable could be a valuable deterrent. So there's only one principal change in the bill, and that is that the bill will make sure that stalking is actually transformed into what is called a cognizable offence. That is, the police will arrest the person, and the person will then have to go to a court and give arguments as to why he deserves bail, not jail. Now, the courts in general will rule in his favour if he is somebody who does not pose a menace or a threat to society. We're not depriving an accused person of his civil rights. We are just making sure that the person who is a victim of stalking gets a bit of a breather and a bit of security without feeling that their complaining would be useless. Further, to amend the Indian Penal Code 1860 and the Code of Criminal Procedure, Code 1973, to prohibit stalking in India. I met with the Home Minister and said, look, number one, this is an easy win for you. It's something you can happily take over and pass. Secondly, I have no ego issues. I don't need to claim authorship of this. It can be a government bill. You go ahead and introduce it. And third, I said that it's something where there is no politics involved. I mean, there is no party interest either on my side or on his. It's a purely simple pro-woman bill. And he listened to me and said he would consider this sympathetically. He scribbled something on the note asking his staff to take it up. And we waited and waited, and 2 sessions have gone by since the bill was drafted. Of course, one was largely disrupted, so we couldn't have done much last time anyway. But this time we decided not to wait anymore. So the bill is on the record. It's now an official public document, and the public knows it's there. The government is still legally able to simply write me a note saying that we wish to take over the bill. And that's entirely acceptable practice, and I have no problem with that. For me, it's more important that the bill is passed, and it should be my bill that's passed. It can be a government bill, but it should accomplish the same objectives.